What's going on, guys? This is Eags, and I'm actually excited about this video, mate. So if you guys want to, know why I teach you what I teach you, I'm going to show you the best player, I think, ever. I think Canyon is the greatest fucking League player ever. It might be a bit fanboyish, but I think it's true. You guys can come at me. I think this guy's unreal. And what I'm trying to teach you guys in these recent videos in terms of timings and jungling in the early game, you are going to see it in two videos here. Now, the funny thing here is that I was coaching two students, and we looked at a couple of Canyon VODs on YouTube and a couple of the replays and stuff. And as soon as we got to around 8 minutes, yeah, so I'd say anywhere from 6 to 6:30 until around 8 minutes, I could just tell what Canyon was going to do based on camp states. So what I'm going to try to teach you here is exactly what he's thinking. In this game, let's play it out for a little bit here. Okay, yeah, so he's playing Italy, yeah, has a hop. Oh, beautiful hop there, mate. Beautiful hop. Runs around a bit. Don't worry about any of this. We're just concentrating on what is going to follow all of this, okay? So yeah, ends up picking up a kill. Does Crab here, because what's he going to lose for doing Crab? I think it's very hard for the enemy jungler to hit his bot side here with his support active and wards down, right? So we can do Crab. Now, after we do Crab, this is one of the most important things. After you do a camp, you need to know, guys, what you're going to do after that camp while you're doing the camp, or even sometimes before you're doing the camp. Canyon here, I guarantee you knows what he's doing after Crab. What would you guys do? Feel free to pause the video as well. I'm going to let it play for a little bit, mate. Also, got some pass through, mate. Let me have a fucking bite of this. Beautiful. And guys, if you want challenger coaching, I'm talking, I don't want to say Canyon level. That is a bit fucking yeah. But yeah, if you want challenger coaching every single role, there will be links down below to my Discord. You can just add me as well if you don't want to join the Discord. But yeah, I'd recommend doing so. There'll be learning resources in there, and you also have Patreon, which is just a cheaper, affordable way. And you will see every single coaching session that I've ever done and will ever do on there as well. After doing Crab here, the correct play is to base. Why? Because you go Krugs red into Rift. Your red buff, that is. Why is it difficult to hit the Kha'Zix's red buff here? Well, first of all, the red buff from Kha'Zix is spawning very soon, and he might be there, and he'll probably get it off spawn, right? Kha'Zix as well might be thinking you're doing something around basing, going Krugs red buff himself. Canyon here, if he does Gromp after this, that's going to be about 720. Because it's going to be 720, we recall. And what do we do after Gromp? We have to run to Rift Herald in case Kha'Zix does it off spawn. So therefore, we go Krugs to red. He can even think about maybe just doing his red buff here and then into Rift Herald. That would probably work out in terms of timing, but he still might be a little bit early for it, right? So we've got 40 seconds here to really make use of this. Now, the reason he goes Krugs and red buff is because it just removes every single bit of counterplay that Kha'Zix might have here, right? So if Canyon was to take his red buff and go to Rift Herald, and Kha'Zix says, no worries, you can have this, Kha'Zix might decide to take his Raptors and Krugs. So getting rid of Krugs, because he has enough time to, denies the enemy jungle counterplay. Okay? So what does Canyon do after this? And you guys might be like, oh, he's going to go to Dragon, he's going to gank bot or do something here. What does Canyon do, mate? Even when bot's fighting like this, he doesn't even go bot. Because how is there a kill there? If you show bot, what do you leave? You leave Rift Herald for Kha'Zix. Now, in terms of 1v1ing, Kha'Zix is stronger, right? It's difficult for Nidalee here to 1v1 the Kha'Zix. But look at the lanes for me as well. Even if he had the weaker lanes, guys, doing this is absolutely fine because if Kha'Zix shows somewhere on the map, he can just sneak the Rift Herald, which is everything in these games. Every single game you watch a Canyon, unless he's fucking 20-0 and the enemy jungler's 0-10, he is going to be at Rift Herald around 8 minutes, which is why you've got to time your pathing into Rift because it's so important. Now, thankfully, I get it. The Faker on Zoe goes bot lane and he's still here. And it's an easy move. But he's allowed to do this because he's pathing into Rift Herald anyway. And even if Faker is mid, maybe Aurelia still has priority. Maybe top lane still has priority, like Vi might be here, right? It's just a consistent way to play this game. Why does Gromp matter? It doesn't matter. He just goes straight into Rift Herald here. Near the end of this, would have got it, of course, but because Kha'Zix is here, for whatever reason, when his mid lane is bot, I don't know what he's doing, Canyon ends up getting Rift and snowballs after this. Hopefully that made sense. Next video I want to show you is this one. Now in this game, guys, Canyon is recalling right here. So he's just on the dragon. Look for me. Okay, so he's just on the dragon, and look at all the other details here. So gold and time in the top right. I did not even need to know the map situation, so the camp situation, to know what he should do here. And I even kind of called out to the student what the Graves should do and what he's probably going to do, because I kind of just guessed it in this game. So Canyon here, look at the levels as well for me, is 1 camp away from 6, right? And the Rift is so close to spawning. So remember, if you're going to run from base to middle of the map, it's 25 seconds around that, right? 25, 30 seconds, whatever. In that amount of time, Rift is going to be up. So if Canyon was to like go from, let's just say all his camps are up. If Canyon was to go from like Krugs, Red, Raptors into Rift, Graves can do it before he gets there. If he goes red buff, then he's got to deviate back to Rift Herald and he might be too late. Especially if Graves has like decent lanes, I guess. What does Canyon have to do here in order to make sure that Rift Herald doesn't get taken? Well, he has to run there like pretty much straight away, right? But because he's so close to 6 as well, he can drive by a camp and he'll still get there around like what, 8:10, 8:15. And by that time, Graves shouldn't have had enough time to actually do this. Now, I said here that Graves, having red buff, being level 6, and he looks pretty fed himself, should think about contesting Rift Herald, but only if his top and mid lane can actually do so, because the threat here is exactly what Canyon is doing. Canyon is recalling, and I guarantee you, by the way, his red buff's up. He's recalling and not even thinking about doing his red buff because Rift is so important. So Graves here knows that if Canyon does Dragon, and he should think like this as well, this Lee Sin after doing Dragon can definitely recall and get to Rift on time. So if I start the Rift and Lee Sin gets here, I'm fucked. Because my top lane is legit 0-3. And I even said this in one of my sessions. I said, look, he can't go there because his top lane, he might be 0-3 or his mid lane. Because I looked at the score, it's 7-3. Canyon's got 2 kills. So Graves not contesting this, it's really because his top laner is fucked. If his top laner was doing well here, the Graves, and maybe it might matter about support and stuff, right? But if his top laner was doing well here, he should definitely think about contesting this. But because top lane is fucked, and Canyon can run here after doing the Dragon, that's why Graves just gives this up. And it's actually good jungling from this guy. I reckon even Canyon thinks, well, this guy's like actually kind of good. Like giving this up, he obviously knows what's happening. But this is the importance, guys, of actually just, valuing Rift Herald at around 8 minutes. You can see when Canyon does this, it's like a 8:15, 8:20. So even if Graves was to randomly do this, he wouldn't be able to because Canyon would get here on time, and then he's got Jax in lane, full HP, full mana right on the map. And it's going to be very, like, kind of sketchy for Graves, and the game would end. So hopefully, guys, this video was really useful for you around, like, this time in the game, like 6-7 minutes. You need to be thinking about your pathing into Rift Herald. And again, in both of these scenarios, it is thinking about the enemy jungle. Okay, so the Kha'Zix one may be less so, but still you're thinking, well, this guy might be able to do it if I, like fanny around bot lane and think about Dragon, which gives you 25 gold, by the way. Wow, insane. Rift Herald gives you 300 gold, plus whatever else you're going to get out of the tower plates and maybe even first tower. Please stop going to Dragon, guys. You're going to give up way too much on the other side of the map. Please start jungling like Canyon. Thank you for watching the video. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, please leave a like down below. Any questions, again, any thoughts, leave them in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video. Don't be shit, bye.